Hello everybody and welcome to Alternative Interactions. I'm Gary, and you join me on what's been quite a while since I've done an update in Babble, type walk and chat. I'm going to go into some of that in a little while. So just say thank you very much for all your support, all your lovely comments, the shares, the likes. It is really appreciated because it goes a long way to the growth of the channel and getting the message out, and again, my old chestnut in it, the old AI. It's very interesting that we seem to be getting an awful lot of AI type channels and bits and pieces spreading and popping up, and yet don't get much more organic than having a phone and a basic microphone walking through a wooded area in nature, and real, just being real, on authentic, really, isn't it? That's the word, authentic, in ourselves and everything else. I mean, yesterday I did a video on sort of like the inner journey, working on the inner self, and it's an ongoing journey, and I suppose this is just kind of like a little ramble and talk about that, and a bit of my journey further, perhaps, that you might find interesting, and a few observations that are going around. So firstly, have you noticed how quiet the news feeds have been yesterday, well, the last few days, really? Doesn't seem to be a lot of the how can I put this? On Telegram we get the same news, or the same feed kind of stuff coming out all the time. So one channel will have some kind of news story, and invariably it'll go from place to place to place to place, and this will be the story or the loosh feeding device of the day, week, or of the hour even. So but it's been very quiet. So is this the calm before the storm? I don't know, you tell me. But it has been quiet. So I do think July is going to be a very turbulent month. We've got some big energies around the sort of 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th July. Maten and I did a programme fundamentally about money, but not as well. And my pendulum is still confirming that we've got some exciting times coming up in July. Things that are going to set things up for the future. So we'll wait and see. Some of this stuff will probably not be obvious until maybe mid-August even, but some of it could be in our faces. Terrible Isabella did a very interesting, thought-provoking, as always, look into July, and I have to say it fully resonated with me. I know most of you guys watch Isabella anyway, but that's got legs, that one, for sure. A lot of the stuff she saw, very interesting, but always timing is a thing, isn't it? Timing. Our perception of time is completely different to the higher selves. I asked the pendulum, oh, it's going to happen soon and imminently. It's like, yes. and a year later it'll happen. Happened. But I can remember once asking, oh shit, terrible really, you shouldn't use the pendulum for these kind of things really, but one of my favourite motorcycle riders, I asked if he was going to win the world championship, and I got a yes. And I thought, wow, and he didn't that year, and I was a bit peeved, a bit miffed, as you can imagine. And I had asked, you know, this year, is he going to win this year? You know, is this coming up? And following year he won it. So you know, very interesting timing. Is very much a human control mechanism, and something that we want to be wary of not getting caught into. You know, Kronos is the keeper of the time, who's also Janus, same person, same energy. Because we have the face of the watch, we only see the one face, don't we? Of the two faces, the other one's behind. As the clock goes forward, it's also going backwards at the same time. And you're thinking, what's he talking about there? But if you think about it, if you take any point in time, the time will be moving forward, and you'll be moving away from that point in time. So that point in time will always be going backwards, even though none of them move anywhere. Time is but an illusion. And again, got a video on that, haven't I? So this weekend's Rocking Pandora's Box. Rich has also mentioned it already. He messaged me the other day. We're going to be looking at the word hue, not necessarily human, but hue and its connotations, both in light and everything else. As you know, I've always got my own take on this sort of stuff, and I'll be bringing something probably different to the table and putting a few connections together that has come up recently in my Janus research as an offshoot type thing, but something that I haven't particularly pursued or looked at because it's just too much too much. Even my brain can't cope with all of it at the times. It's very difficult. It's a huge thing, and we can only take so much information in at once. And again, typical me kind of avoidance, you know yourself, know who you are. I've got a huge PowerPoint to put together, massive PowerPoint, that I'm probably going to have to break up into parts for sure. But it's on Janus and all the connections and all the spikes and where it all goes and who's connected to who is who, all the stuff. All the shenanigans and skullduggery that we get. But it's such a big project that when I start to go down or think I've sort of like got a grip on it, some other piece of information comes up and then takes me down another rabbit hole. And yeah, it's turned into something what we would call the Forth Bridge in the UK. Forth Bridge is a big old iron bridge, and they start painting it, and by the time they finish painting it, they have to start all over again. So it's a bit like the paint job of the Forth Bridge. It just, once you think you've got to the end, you've got to start all over again with something else. Now, it's been a while since you've seen me walking and babbling, and I know I talk about the inner work, which is very, very important, obviously, and finding that middle ground, or the balance between the yin and the yang. You know, the yin and the yang has got that, it's not a straight line, it's a curvy line. Well, it's about moving and finding that balance within the extremes of, you know, which is the inner work that we talked about yesterday. But you know me, I always go a bit step further, really. And this is all divine. It's all divine guidance. You know, it's part of my journey. It's not your journey necessarily, but you might find it interesting. So here we go. I've been having something done on me called spinal flow. Please look up spinal flow. Very, very interesting. It's an energy technique fundamentally, not like Reiki or anything like that. It's different. I find it hard to explain correctly without getting told off for missing it. So please look up spinal flow. But fundamentally, it's just the reconnection of your internal energy, your own chi energy, the way I see it anyway, that allows the body to heal, release trauma, chemical stuff that's been held in the body, and also physicality. So it's a trinity really of modality effects that it has on the body. And I have to say that it's been quite, I'm not going to say mind-blowing, but mind-opening. You know, the body is a very, very, very clever piece of engineering. And if we look after ourselves and it, as in the mind, the body, soul, we really don't need that third party pill to make our lives all better again, because fundamentally that's part of the major control mechanism, isn't it? Give me a pill and fix me. Give me a pill. So not prepared to change anything in my life, not prepared to do anything, not prepared to put any of the work in. Just give me a pill so I'm fixed and I can just carry on and learn no lessons. So yeah, so I've been having spinal flow. I've been having it for some time, and like most people out there in their early 50s, we've had quite a bit of trauma in our lives. We've had physical and mental, you know, trauma, and toxic, you know, toxins have come into our bodies through consumption and drugs, pharmaceutical or otherwise, and the body holds the score. Body keeps score. And if you get too imbalanced, you can get diseased. Disease is just a dis-ease of the body's balance. Again, it's that center line, that balance I talk about, the yin and the yang. Same with the body. It's so within, so without, as above, so below. It's all the same sort of stuff, you know. When you start to understand this, that we are truly connected in multi-dimensional ways to everything, it starts to become quite clear, you know. So the first few weeks months of spinal flow, I knew it was doing stuff, but there was no real obviousness of it, of what was happening. In the last couple of 3 weeks, very interesting stuff has started to happen to my body. So my body, my shoulders, my left shoulder has actually moved forward over an inch to make me square again. So I was on the and I've also been going through at certain periods of time, not fully aware of this, but I am now, really do get it, where old injuries or old traumas would come back almost. Now obviously I didn't have those traumas or injuries anymore, but what was happening was the body mechanics were expelling that out of me. So I've had stuff called diverticulitis, irritable bowel syndrome type stuff from my previous poor lifestyle, and I had a big bout of that shortly after I started doing the spinal flow, which is very unusual because I've been clear of that, a couple of years. For those of you who do suffer these types of things, fasting, it's the kiddie on that one, I tell you. A fast allows your body to reset, and obviously this is not medical advice, this is just a story, this is for entertainment purposes only. Please seek advice from a medical practitioner or expert who has been signed off by the third party corporation as knowing more than we do. But fasting is very, very beneficial to us, and it's something you should probably look into, or not. I'm just telling my story, what I've done. And so with intermittent fasting and like 48, 58, 56 hour fasts, kind of it's a reset, isn't it? But this spinal flow did bring this up, and I was quite ill for about a week. I couldn't really make it out because although I had changed my diet, it wasn't the sort of change that I hadn't done before previously. There was absolutely no issues. But obviously knowing that my left shoulders moved forward, come forward an inch and a bit at least. So when I used to lay down on my front, my left shoulder would stick up an inch and a bit higher than my right shoulder, and now I'm square again. But I also had this kind of thing happen with my hips. Shoulders still got to go, but we'll get to that one. So the reason why I haven't been doing the updates and babbles is because when I was 14 I smashed my kneecap. And it's quite a traumatic time for me, not just the smash but other things going on in my life at the time, and it wasn't a very good time, to say the least. And for no reason at all, I woke up one morning after the spinal flow treatment and my knee had swollen up. Obviously the knee that was broken, smashed, I had to have an operation on, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I done? I can't think of it. I've not jarred myself, not done anything, Don't know if you can hear that. That's the deer, believe it or not. It's a muntjac. Sounds like a dog barking or something calling. Yeah, muntjac deer that is, if you can hear that. Anyway, so my knee swelled up to the point where I could literally hardly walk, and then my other knee went stiff as well, and I really have been struggling to walk for the last two and a half weeks. And this was my body expressing and getting rid of that trauma. Yeah, no, it's just interesting stuff, isn't it? You know, the body has reignited the memory of that trauma, that period of time. And the trauma was clearly focused into my knee, because that was the focal point of, you know, the physical rather than the emotional, which I wouldn't have been able to process as a kid in that way. So this is the first time I've been walking literally pain-free in 2.5, nearly 3 weeks. Which is kind of a strange thing, you know. Again, I had a back operation in 2003, and obviously with the spinal flow, my back was all sort of playing around and that. But the sciatica that I'd had in my back, not bad, just that every now and again I would have to sleep in a certain way to get to sleep. That's completely gone. It's gone. And I have been completely back or sciatica free pain wise for several weeks, until the knee started, obviously. And then there's all sorts of things going on my left side, but the left side is a release of, it's part of the release system. Left is release, and so I'm letting go. So very, very interesting. And a couple of days ago, my right shoulder, I woke up in the morning and my right shoulder was absolutely, I just turned around, absolutely killing me. Right shoulder was absolutely killing me. And I'm thinking, what on earth have I done to this? And then I remembered, when I was about 7 or 8, broke my collarbone. And what's actually happening is this shoulder is adjusting the height of itself, literally, to square me out. And the bones and the cartilage are all moving in my, you know, the front part here that caused the problem, sort of like to pull it down, is now realigning itself. And so for the last 3 days, I've had quite a bit of shoulder pain, but front here, just this area here, the trauma site really, where everything's starting to move. And so, because I'm now walking squarer, all the tendons and all the muscles in my legs are having to relearn how to walk again and work in a way that they're not used to. And my shoulder's changing. Now, some of this is painful. That's no different to the inner work we do. Some of it's painful. Now, do you give up at the first sign of a bit of stress, a bit of something's going on, or do you push through? As you can tell with me, and those who kind of know me a bit, I'm obviously pushing through because I can feel the benefit of this. And I'm actually feeling better. At the beginning of the exercise, you know, 3 months ago now, it's been going on for a while. This is, you know, possibly longer, on and off. But I've really started to get more intensive with the treatment in the last few weeks. My spine couldn't be felt. You could not feel, if you run your finger down my spine, there's obviously there's where the spine is, but you couldn't actually feel any of the spine. And now 95-98% of that spine can be felt, because I've removed the layers of toxicity, trauma off via this process. And it's a subconscious system, it's a subconscious thing. So, you know, I'm just telling you my journey with spinal flow. If you guys were going to do it, you know, it's an investment. You're investing in your time and your health. But when you start aching and waking up, I mean, there's the emotional release as well. I mean, you know, you can feel the emotional release when you're on the table, and all of a sudden you start crying and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Or you well up and you breathe out. That's this energy, and it's gone. You've released. It's gone. You know, and I can even tell you where that, or what that was from. But it went and it released. And I have to say, at the moment, I'm feeling mentally and not necessarily physically, but I am physically feeling better than I have done in years. Sharper. Will it last? Of course it will. And it will last because my body is the one that's doing it. I'm the one that's doing it. The spinal flow practitioner is the facilitator of the remembering and the relearning of my body's energy, and put myself back to where we should be, how I should be. That's a pretty mad story, that one. And I'm sure you'll agree. Very interesting, and the results are amazing. I do know as an offshoot of, and I've met this lady, beautiful, lovely lady, with Parkinson's disease, and she is more mobile and functioning far better since having this treatment. You know, and I'm not going to use the word cure on anything at all, because that's total, you know, we can't use these words, but it helps in lots of different ways, you know. And even animals, you know, horses, dogs, cats, it doesn't matter, we're all the same kind of physiologically, we all have the same energy, we're all the same vibrational frequency type, you know, moving beings. And so this modality helps all sorts, including, as I say, horses, cats, dogs, rabbits, guinea pigs. I don't think it really matter, but yeah. So I just thought I'd let you guys into why I haven't been doing so many walks. And today, apart from being a bit out of breath because I haven't done a lot of walking for 2.5 weeks, I'm walking down here completely pain free. So the last couple of days I've just like literally woken up and it's like, wow, huge improvement. So it's nice to be back out. And it's nice to be back out. Now this is another thing I want to bring up. At the moment the weather's lovely. Please make sure you get out in this weather. Not with your sunglasses on, if you can help it, because sunglasses are really not our friend, certainly not our skin's friend. Our eyes are receptors, or they control the amount of chemical release that's needed within the skin to stop us getting burnt. And when we're wearing sunglasses, obviously our eyes then can't work the same way as they should be, and so they don't put enough chemical, you know, into, I think it's melanin, isn't it, something like that, melatonin, into the body but it's multiple facets. I mean, obviously the vitamin D that we create from the sun and all that sort of stuff, it's all affected by sunglasses, and so it reduces the amount of the body, because obviously it's dark, it's a dull day, isn't it? It's not a sunny day because you're wearing sunglasses, and so it's one of the big factors for the big C of the skin. And obviously the second big factor is the sun lotion that we slap on, or that some slap on. So again, I think Johnson & Johnson been found to have been put in additional ingredients into their cream of the sun that causes the big C. And there's plenty of creams that have been pulled off the shelves because of this kind of problem, and they're only going to pull it off the shelves if there's a huge problem, because we understand from the 10 dart finish that excessive issues from such things are part of the game. So anyway, getting back to nature, make sure, please, while it's lovely, that you get outside, ground yourself, take your shoes off, socks off, hug a tree, you know, like I said before, remember to smell the roses along the road, you know. Don't forget to stop and look around sometimes and marvel at the beauty of what Mother Gaia has provided us as the backdrop to what is our interaction in this realm. I mean, today I'm just staying on the main path. I've got shorts on, and there are deer about, as you heard, and the main path is completely tick free, there's no problems, but I start going through the bracken and stuff like that in the background, going through the forest. There was a potential that I could get a tick, and I don't want to be playing that game, but the UK is fundamentally pretty good. Some years are worse than others, but fundamentally it's pretty good. But yeah, please do things you love, guys. Please do something, take some time out, you know. Put time in. Take the kids down the park. Let them scream and roar around like they used to years ago, you know. It's just quite funny, the last few days where I live, the internet's been out. 2 days, you know, to literally 48 hours exactly, 2 full days literally to the hour. Very interesting, isn't it? Obviously with my mind, I don't trust a damn thing that's going on, but yeah, we had internet, so no broadband. I was able to use the phone as a hotspot for uploading videos and stuff, but it was pretty tricky for a few days. But do you know what was noticeable? It's very quiet where I live. And then all of a sudden all we could hear was children's voices. The squeals and screams of playing outside. And for 2 days we had children playing outside in the streets, in the local park just around the corner from me. Kids rolling around on their push bikes and scooters. That's a bit like the 1970s and the 1980s. All of a sudden, for just like 24, 48 hours. So yeah, I should imagine all the little buggers are sat inside now on their PlayStations and their Xboxes and whatever, giving themselves a good old zap of radiation and continuing their slow but controlled slide into the metaverse of another kind of consciousness and realm. My mind just had this image come up, which is terrible really, but it was just of like the Metatronic cube of the AI, sort of like meta type thing, saying, please come here, stay with me, you'll be fine, there's no need to ascend, look what I could give you in this fake reality. Oh dear, I shouldn't really say that, should I? But it is part of what's going on, you know. The joy of seeing, isn't it? It's just the joy of foresight, isn't it? Unfortunately, some of us, or fortunately, double-edged sword, I guess, we see things, we see the patterns from the historical work we've done, from being switched on, I guess, curious, as I would put in a previous video. We've been curious for too long. That curiosity creates cynicism. We're cynics. We see the patterns in everything. We see the fallacy of it all. We see the shenanigans and the skullduggery behind it. Same old people, same old playbook. And I guess really that's what all this is about, isn't it? You know, me walking along here babbling to you guys, and soft disclosures and making you think about things or not thinking about things. So it's not making you do anything, is it? Hopefully it sparks a little bit of curiosity. I think we're going to see a big movement with the sleepers in the next few months. I really do feel many people, and I think we've got a big period now, probably up to 2027, where year and a half, 18 months, whatever, you know, 2 years of some quite intense wake-ups, curiosity gaining moments, things that will tip people over the edge. And for those of you guys who've been banging your drum in truth for quite a while, I think you're going to be very, very busy. And from being potentially shunned or ridiculed in the laughing stock, there's going to be an awful lot of people wanting some help. And that's exactly what they're going to get, isn't it? And they're lucky and they're fortunate to have us and you, the beautiful family, to be there for them. Because many of you guys, I know, many woke up in 2020 during that PSYOP. And for many of you, it was a very, very difficult, tricky period and time. And you didn't have somebody to, some did, but many of you didn't have somebody put their hand around their shoulder, say, there, it's all right, how can I help you? And so we are kind of going to be doing that, you know, and the sooner it starts, really, the better, because these people and we will need time for the adjustment and to really help these people the way they deserve it, and they do. So with that, I'm at my 40-minute babble ending. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for all the support I get. You know, the donations you guys give me are just blown away by. You just make such a difference, and I really do appreciate it. I really do. You guys are absolute stars. Thank you very much, and I'm